Hello and welcome to our podcast, Straight from the Heart, episode number 3. This one is about Shane Keith Vaughan. Well, through the last week, we've been hearing various reports about the unfortunate demise of Shane Vaughan and people pouring in with their tributes. And this is a small measure to just uh, put some light to the great legacy that the man has left behind. I remember that day my cousin just sent a text message saying that Shane Warne passes away. I mean, he's the same cousin of mine who had just messaged about Sushant's demise, and it was just a shock. I mean, Shane Warne is someone like I mean, I've held him in great regard, and not just me. I think people across the country who followed cricket or even otherwise have a lot of respect for him. I mean, this is your grandparents' generation, your parents' generation, and probably our own generation. I mean, he had that sort of a magical appeal across generations. I mean, truly an amazing guy. And across sports, you can see the the Aussie Football Federation, tennis stars, everyone pouring in with their special remarks on him. Just goes to show how many lives he touched. And he was a true champion. I mean, I'll start by remembering his the inaugural IPL that he won. I mean, the team that he had, Rajasthan Royals, they didn't have much of a purse to buy big players, and they had a very normal team. And this guy led the team to amazing heights. I mean, in the first edition itself, leading a team of nobodies and inspiring them to lift the title and leading from the front. I mean, with his performances was just amazing. And I remember reading this in Harsha Bogle's book, the winning way that I mean, his approach is quite different. So he used to have a winning attitude at any point of time. I mean, even if the game was going down the hill, he would say, "How can we win it from here? Like, let's forget the past. How can we win it from here?" And that I think just translated into the new young boys of Rajasthan Royals, and people like Ravindra Jadeja, Yusuf Pathan, who came through the ranks, were handpicked by him. I think he had especially said that Ravindra Jadeja is going to be a superstar in the future, and how true it has to prove to be. That's one special memory, of course, and I used to always think that he's the best captain that Australia somehow never had. So I think partly because he has been into infamous controversies, and Australia actually hold the position of Test captain as a very high pedestal. They call it the second most important position in the country after the Prime Minister. So probably that's where Vaughan missed out. But the performances that he put in with his state side in Australia and the other teams across the globe as a captain shows how much Australia would have benefited under him. Having said that, I mean, looking at Ricky Ponting, paying a tribute to Ricky Ponting, of course, was the captain for most of the time that Warney played along, I mean, apart from Alan Border and Steve Waugh. So Ponting's farewell message was quite touching. Gilchrist had some great words to say about him. I mean, he said that I and Ian Haley probably were the only two keepers who got to keep to him, and it was pretty special. I mean, if I look back at his legacy, I'll first start with the first ball that he bowled in the Ashes. I mean, he had so his debut was against India in the same match that Ravi Shastri scored a double century. That was the Sydney Test, and Ravi Shastri actually was smashing him over the covers. This was 1992 tour, and so that was not a great debut. But when his first Ashes test came along, I mean, he came on to bowl to Gatting, and the bowl that he bowled was special one. I mean, it swung almost like 2 meters or something. I mean, it's landed outside leg stump and took the off stump, and I mean, a really special ball, and that's where he established his credentials right from the first Ashes ball. As someone who would step up at the best of the times when you require him to step up, and the toughest of times, the team needs you. Another example, of course, was the 1999 semi-final against the South Africans, wherein if you remember the special game, which is often told as called out as the best one-day game of all time. I mean, it was a low-scoring one. Australia had got just 213, and they had to defend that. And I mean, Hansi Cronje and the middle order of South Africa were playing well. And here comes Warney with his 4 wickets and just pulls the game away from South Africa. Special performance. If you remember, he was the man of the match in both the semi-final and the final against Pakistan, where they dismissed Pakistan for just 131, 132. So, I mean, yeah, man who steps up to the occasion, the big platform. 2003, he had to miss out on the World Cup. If you remember, just before the Cup started, he had a controversy around a banned substance found in his body. He said it's a medicinal purpose that he had taken it for, but of course that couldn't help the man get lifted. So he ended up with just one World Cup. But yeah, pretty special performances. He played well in 1996 World Cup as well, and which reminds me of his exploits for Sachin Tendulkar. So I mean, of course, his rivalry against Tendulkar was something which is talked about by both fans in India and Australia as well as people across the globe. I mean, Sachin probably had the upper hand in the Sharjah matches. I mean, he just smashed Vaughan to all parts of the ground, and on the tour of India as well, he couldn't do great against Tendulkar. And he often said that he had nightmares against about bowling to Tendulkar, but they had a special relationship, and of course, Sachin also fondly remembers Vaughan. And I mean, of course, there's tons of things we can speak about the legend. I mean, more than 700 wickets in the test matches and 1,001 test, I mean, overall international wickets. Truly a special guy. I mean, someone who I, of course, look up to a lot. I mean, that thing about how can we win it from here is something that I also, I mean, it's kind of been inspiring for me across the years. And well, I mean, we all hope that let's just pray for his peace and just probably remember his legacy and remember the great man for what he was. In the end, I'll just say, well bowled, Dhoni. Take care and God bless you all.